They said, well, let's go with the map where maybe we can eke out something, we can do something crazy on, versus a map where we're pretty much guaranteed to lose.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there we go. They managed to eliminate it. I mean, interesting bans altogether, and an interesting order as well, because I kind of agree with you. In my opinion, VP are the best team in the world on Cobblestone right now. They're the ones that adopted it early. They started refining their strategies on it, and ever since they started playing it, really, they've just looked so good on it on the map. Nobody really seems to compare. So we know that teams actively look to avoid them on this map. They don't want to play VP here. So the fact that Fnatic are starting off on Cobble versus these guys, it's going to be a bit brutal here for the Swedes, especially since, you know, the Swedes have actually shown that they're mortal.
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
They are looking a little shaky this tournament.
They have dropped maps, and it wasn't an easy group for them. And yeah, here we go. The ninth round has kicked off. I think this is going to be very psychologically important. You get to CT start here. You know this is. I think for me, this is going to go the distance. But the way the maps have come out, I think we're going to see all maps here. I see this like going 3-2 to Fnatic here. So
3-2 settled on overpass. Yeah, I can see that as well.
I think that's going down, and like just the way this is played out in terms of the picks.
Yeah, just in terms of stamina as well. One thing to note is that Virtus.pro are coming straight out of their semifinal. Now there's pros and cons to that. Some would say that, you know, VP are actually they're warmed up, they're fired up, and they're going to be ready to go into this next map for them. So there is that to consider. The other thing is you could say that, well, Fnatic have now had a couple of hours rest where they've been able to relax a little bit, and then they come into this, they're going to be fresh. Yeah. So how do you feel? Because it feels like to me this is more the long-term thing. This is going to be a marathon. VP, they might have already, you know, they might be getting close to that peak, whereas Fnatic are going to peak later on in the series to close it out, perhaps.
I think after you've exhausted that much adrenaline in one of those big series, like against Navi, like VP had, there's only so much the brain can produce, and I feel that they'll be physically exhausted going into this one. It's difficult to dig that deep and get that high back into your body and find that kind of killer instinct after you've kind of been in such a long series there. So I think Fnatic have got the edge here. They're going to be well rested. They're going to be going into this feeling quite fresh, and VP will be like, for me, when I was playing at least, I thought those big games took it out of me a lot.
No, that's something to consider. I mean, best of 5 format as well, same day. You know, this is both of these teams have played semifinal matches today. It's going to be a lot of games for them. So we really are going to have to look towards the later maps, which is why I could actually side with you, saying, you know, this is going to go the distance. This is going to take the 5, because you'll be strong on one map, but perhaps you start bottoming out on another. It's going to be back and forth between these two giants. So let's see already. We're live with the pistol round now. Fnatic will be starting on the CT side on the defense, whereas Virtus.pro will just be throwing Taz away basically to get the info there. He gets completely clobbered though. Doesn't really spot the setup at all. Pronax, however, in drop-down room gets overwhelmed, and this is just a back and forth at this point. Man lead here for Fnatic, and now a 2-man as JW picks up a second kill, and it's going to be Bialy and Neo, the last 2 alive here for Virtus.pro. No closer to getting onto this bomb site. Neo with a sick headshot onto Crims at the back of Henhut, but he is going to get caught. JW with 2 frags, and that is, or with 3 frags rather, Olfmeister with 2, and that's going to be just a non-stop brawl throughout the entire pistol. I didn't even have time to catch my breath.
Yeah, you normally favor the T's on these kind of pistol rounds when they can kind of glock up together and go as a 5-man towards the site. The fact they split up there and kind of stopped the Glock train essentially and allowed Fnatic to utilize their crossfires they had in the drop-down and connector area, I think that was the letdown there for VP, and it's going to start this CT campaign off very strongly for Fnatic, and you can see here quite a fast eco round coming in. They made some presence at the B-bomb site already.
And they've already managed to sneak past up long onto the plateau, so this is going to be interesting here. Olfmeister is literally hiding behind a piece of tissue paper back there. You can take so much damage through these wooden walls, but he's going to have the help of Crims. So between the 2 of them, they do manage to stop Taz from getting anything done over here. Snags, however, trying to get up close, make use of that pistol. It's not going to be good enough. And Neo trying to infiltrate here with the Tech 9. He can do massive damage, picks out the first, gets the second, could get a third here as well, and he does just that. Neo single-handedly bringing it back for VP, nearly gets the 4th. Pronax just barely living with 33 HP, and that leaves it down to Pasha. 37, and he gets caught out in the open. MP9 going to do the work.
Well, big work from Neo there. That was pretty crazy damage he caused there to the economy. You can see that the rifles will be able to bore here, like they didn't lose too much on the pistol and stuff. So here we go, going in. It's going to be interesting to see what VP can bring to this round. Like a Glock round on Cobblestone is really not going to do much for you. It's almost a throwaway round. You can't. Your objective is to get the bomb down, but with no utility at all and just 1 PT50, you're going to struggle to do anything here. So I imagine this round's going to go pretty cleanly in Fnatic's favor.
It's almost like a timeout, essentially.
Yeah.
I mean, you can treat it as such, because the likelihood of you doing big damage with this, or even, well, planting a bomb, we have seen that in the past, where you kind of just YOLO onto a map. And we see Flesha. He's going to set up that pop flash, and he can't overstay his welcome. He gets the first frag, and he's going to fall back instantly here. This is a big win for Flesha, managing to slow down VP and getting that initial frag to give Fnatic a bit of an edge in this round. As far as Virtus.pro are concerned, they've lost 2 players now, and this is starting to look a little bit grim here for their 4th round bye. Such a key round here for Virtus.pro to start getting some momentum early on. And JW, he is going to get that HE combo. This is big. JW is just going to town right now. 2 kills for him, and it's going to be a 3rd one for Flusha. Well, no, pardon me, a 2nd one for Flusha, but still. They do actually manage to completely lock down the entrances to that bomb site.
Yeah, so we saw Flusha there. I think at that first frag he got into the apartments area, there was just fantastic work from him. But that great pop flash got himself some information and a free kill out of it. Very important stuff. It was a pretty standard round for Virtus.pro, kind of just wolfpacking, kind of see where they can get control, and then they were going to go into an A execute from there. But losing men so rapidly and kind of breaking down as a unit so fast from the hands of Flusha there, that it was very detrimental to them, and they're going to be forced into another eco here. So they have got the Tech 9s. We saw what damage Neo did with that the last time he was here, but JW not giving in, and he's going to go open up the fragging there again with the AK-47 in the middle.
I think that's like 9 kills, 1 death for JW at this point, so he's starting to work on a pretty healthy KDR. Yep, sitting pretty firmly at the top. And so we'll be looking at him. I mean, he's a big player for Fnatic. They need him off to a strong start, and Crims is going to draw the attention over here. They had no idea that Pronax was on the other side of that smoke. Crossfire has been established for Fnatic, and they are just locking down the drop-down rim. Taz, all by his lonesome, nearly wins the fight versus Holophmeister, but there will not be a single kill here for Virtus.pro, so not the best eco round as far as they're concerned.
Yeah, we see those guys do that drop-down setup. They crossfire it so well. It's so clever to see them do it. Like they draw the attention from each other, and the T's are almost a split where they have to focus their attention. And the games I've watched Fnatic do it, they completely lock it down. It's going to be a real problem for VP if they decide to keep going towards this B bomb site.
And that is, I mean, you touch on it right there. Fnatic, this is one of the big reasons why they are one of the best teams in the world, and if not the best team right now. It's the team play between them. Crims is in there. He hears that Pronax is flashed. What does he do? He immediately steps out and tries to draw the attention to himself so that Pronax, well, he has time to come out of it, and then it just turns into a blender. So that was perfect from Fnatic. And a great example of what, good teamwork and communication can get you. Now we have another buy round coming out from here for Virtus.pro, and they just try to run through with JW. Bit of a lucky break there, but he manages to get the perfect spray transfer onto Taz. And this is a catastrophe for Virtus.pro. Now the bomb has been dropped in underpass, and 2 players remain, Snax and Pasha. Pasha's got his AWP, and he's trying to find a way to get it to actually work. He's gone all the way back up to T-Sniper right now.
I haven't seen this position used in quite a while. It's interesting. I assume he's just setting himself up for the save here, but Snack's actually opening up onto Holophmeister. Maybe a glimmer of hope here if he can find one more.
And it's possible, but Fnatic right now, they're going to have overlapping lines of defense. At this point, 35 seconds left. They feel fine actually giving up that bomb. They've wasted so much time in this round already. And now Pasha, Pasha is still waiting all the way up there in T-spawn. When is he actually going to start rotating off?
I think that the fact they've got 25 seconds here and they're both in those positions, they've kind of counted themselves out of the round. He's probably calling for him to come join him up in that apartment, and they can just save the guns quite safely there. And Snax could be opting for that position there. That was an interesting play from VP. Going through smoke normally, not very advised. I wouldn't recommend it. You can't if you've got time to play with there. You don't need to run through the smoke. It didn't even seem like Flusha was blind there when they came through. So, sorry, JW there in the middle. And he managed to pick up 2 great frags, like you said, kind of lucky to stay alive. But once they got the bomb down and it was smoked off, pretty easy round for Fnatic here. And 6-0. And we've seen how strong they are yesterday on the T side of Cobble as well. So VP really need to start bringing some rounds to the board and getting back into this. Can see a full buy here. They did manage to save that AWP. And I think that's going to be important. Pasha yet to get into the game, 0 for 5. They're going to want to change up the mentality, and actually, I think going towards B and waiting for the smokes to die down and kind of doing a Navi sort of style play, where using the AWP in the last minute and then executing might work for them there.
This is where we start to see the different peaks as well as far as the players are concerned, because on that map versus Navi, Pasha was leading the charge for Virtus.pro. Yeah. And then here, coming into Cobblestone, starting off this new series, fresh map for him, and really he hasn't had much of a start at all. VP heavily rely on Pasha. It's been talked about all weekend long as far as how he is a key player for this team, and that the rest of the team, the rest of the 4 kind of play around him. Yeah. So if he isn't the one stepping up right now getting the kills for Virtus.pro, we need to see Snax, we need to see Bialy, but really it needs to be Pasha. So he's got the AWP, like you said. He managed to hold on to that from the last round. And right now he hasn't had any joy yet with it. No targets given by Fnatic. This time around, look at this, a straight line pretty much across the board for Fnatic, holding very passively right now. They're not really giving Virtus.pro the option or the opportunity to get that entry frag. We've seen them do this in the past, and they're actually going to start walking. They're going to start walking together, and this is so clever. Look at this. But there's the shot. JW, he dodges it. They trade shots, and nobody connects. But that is such a clever move by Virtus.pro. We've seen it in the past. It is so sick when you see it actually in action. Actually in action, right? But already it looks like we're going to have to push onto the B side here, and Olofmeister and Crims doing a fine job of tag teaming it, managing to slow things down at least. The smoke goes down to try and block this off. Pasha's now got oversight, looking towards the site, looking towards Connector, and he nearly spots out the man. Into drop-down room, still looking for that shot, and he's not going to get it. 3 members survive here for Virtus.pro, and with 10 seconds left, they need to get this bomb plant happening now. Snax clears up the site, that's Crims gone into a 3-on-3, but there's only 6 seconds left with that bomb finally ticking away. Neo and Pasha going to work, but there's Neo getting caught out by Flusha. He reacts in time, and we're into the 2-on-2. Flusha cleaning house, Snax sprays, he's into the 1v1 now versus JW, and JW, he does have a kit, and he's acting like he's sticking it there. He still has time though, and Snax doesn't take the bait. Doesn't go out into the open, and at this point now, it gets a little bit tricky here for JW. He's quickly running out of time, and Snax, so many places to hide on this map. The no-scope around the corner?
Can you believe it?
Only JW!
Wow. It surprises me how many times that works for him. Like, no scoping generally shouldn't be that accurate and should work, but every time he seems to take it, it goes his way. And that's going to be hugely frustrating for VP there. Like, the fact that Snax played that round so perfectly, didn't even face the bomb when the fake diffusers came in. He was so aware of what was going on, and he was let down by a no-scope and all with that range. Just like, oh my god, he must be hating his life right now. That is, you hate to see it happen to go down like that.
That's shattering, you're right. I mean, 7 rounds in a row now for Fnatic. They've got the money, they've got the bank. Virtus.pro, because they're getting full loss bonus and they got the bomb plan in the last round, they can't afford to go for a full buy here. And Neo getting a random bullet to the face, drops him down to 10 HP. Olofmeister manages to fall back. We might have a very quick acceleration here from Virtus.pro. 2 players up on plateau, trying to find a way in, but the Molotovs are rolling in, and Olofmeister holding up close right now, taking this spray battle. So far, Fnatic, they're doing a very good job of making use of the angles here, trying to close things off from VP. They are turning it into fights that, look at this, Virtus.pro have not been able to yet cross the open ground. They can't actually get onto this bomb site so long as these players are alive. Finally, Pasha goes for the flank, but Crims shuts him down. It's going to be Bialy, and the random shot through. Pronex just clicking away, and he catches out Neo. It's down to Taz now, 1v2, and he gives away his position by clicking onto Pronex there. Looking to see if he can't find somebody and drop. He's going to take the fight, and he's going to lose it. Pronex manages to catch him off guard just there. Taz not fast enough, not coming through. And also, Taz was one of the standout players for Virtus.pro in the last map versus Na'Vi, so we need to see him stepping up as well.
Yeah, we're seeing VP actually get into the bomb site. They're actually doing quite well to get that far into the bomb site before they're getting taken down. It's just coming down to them hitting them shots there. Like we saw Pasha coming to the side, one of the CT players on the fountain, and he's completely whiffed a shot there and kind of was a very important frag. Yep. They were opting to go towards his B stop like quite a lot here, and they're just utilising this mid area on their ecos. I really think they need to start using this more, running down the smokes and getting into it. But here we go. It's actually an interesting eco here as it actually gets some advantage in middle.
And Flusha is still alive here on this side. He peeks out at just the right time, and he's going to be able to hunt down the remaining man here. Pasha just trying to play the angle, trying to get somebody to peek him, but Flusha closes in, and that is going to be another fairly clean round for Fnatic. I think that they can afford to give up a couple of members, considering that you had like 3 of them starting with above $10,000. The bank right now is just getting out of control for Fnatic.
Yeah, this is just like a masterclass from Fnatic right now. Like they're hitting all their shots, playing the rounds perfectly. They know exactly what they're doing on their CD setup. They don't really need to change things up too much, like potentially move the AWP around a little bit just to surprise VP a bit more. But again, VP going towards the B-bomb site. I think they're going to try and bait out some presence in middle with Pasha with the AWP. How effective that's going to be, I'm not so sure. We can see here he's looking anywhere he can, and JW is actually going to find him, I think. Yeah, there it is. He does that so much. We see him gaining that control, and that's the intel right there. No one else middle. Everyone gets towards B. It's coming.
And they're going to be able to rotate fairly quickly. Spray through by Olofmeister, not really doing too much damage. However, it's going to be Crims holding the front line here, and he just barely manages to spot the shoulder. No, he does not. It's going to be a 1-for-1 trade, and this time around, however, they do manage to get onto the bomb site VP. It's going to be a retake scenario here for Fnatic. And Taz does manage to take out Pronex, bringing it back to a 3-on-3. Finally, that bomb will get planted successfully. And now it comes down to whether Virtus.pro can hit the shots or eat the nades. JW picks up one, and they're just trading back and forth. Taz now the last man alive here for Virtus.pro. Catches a man reloading. That's Flusha gone, but then JW holding from connector with the AWP will find the angle and take Taz out of the fight. 17-2-3.
Yep,
for JW right now.
Another one-on-one clutch with the AWP. You kind of have to favour the T's in this situation when you're trying to retake a bomb site with an AWP. Like it's always very difficult. You're caught in a situation where you can only fire one bullet, and he seems to be pulling them off, and that's going to put them into 10-0. What a phenomenal scoreline for them. Obviously a very CT-sided map, but at this stage you really want to have some rounds on the board to kind of actually start the campaign off.
Yeah, well, now we're actually getting to the point where VP need to get the remaining rounds, because we expect to see more rounds on T side these days on Cobble after the recent patch changes. JW going ultra aggro, though, that's going to get a good punish, and 3-4 players there in mid right now for Virtus.pro, and they do manage to get him fairly quickly there without him actually managing to return anything. It's going to come down to Flusha now. Not sure if he spotted the man in apartments, but they're going to line up for him, and he controls the spray perfectly. Double kill to return, and Fnatic right back in control, and they have rotated the extra members over as well. 2 guys holding an A apartments right now. This may catch Virtus.pro off guard. But Virtus.pro not really trying to force the issue. They realize that they have a minute left on this clock, so plenty of time. They don't need to try and rush into it. They don't need to try and force things. They can try and wait to see if Fnatic are going to rotate this extra man off the site. Flusha just holding at the back of it for now, and Pasha now trying to set it up with the smoke as well. He's going to get peeked as he swaps weapons. That tick is killer. And Crims will get him for free. Neo and Taz now the last 2 alive, and Taz will win the fight versus Crims. So back into the 2-on-2, but the rotation is coming through here. Olafmeister, he's now off that B site, working his way through connector. And Taz is trying to greet him. Neo as well. Oh, it's Neo instead who manages to lurk his way through, and this is going to be a big kill. It's going to come down to Olafmeister now. And he doesn't manage to get past on that bomb site. The bomb will be dropped by Taz out in the open. Neo making that mad dash. He will be able to pick it up. And with 19 seconds left here, there is time for some tomfoolery here on Neo's part. Except that there's the Molotov. This is going to force Neo out into the open, and perfect play, except that Neo gets the shot. Olafmeister, he looks up in frustration. He knew he should have had that.
Yeah, what a phenomenal play from Olafmeister there. Great game sense. Lands the Molotov directly on top of him, and unfortunately can't convert it into a kill there. He's going to be a little bit frustrated. But the fact it was a 2-on-1 anyway, like the odds are stacked against him, and it's only the first round they've lost in this CT side, so not too detrimental to them. They're going to be going back in. I think JW got a bit audacious there in middle. He overfaced a little bit here. He stayed a little bit too long. And we can see VP actually opting again for this B bomb side. They actually haven't got the same presence they had in middle last time. So if they push side alley again and get that information, it's going to be very difficult for them to get into it.
And look at the change of pace coming in from VP. They go straight through the smoke this time. Behind the flashes, Olafmeister's there to greet them, but then Pasha and Snacks return the frags instantly. Virtus.pro now a man up, going onto the B site. And now they actually get the bomb plant. Still have nades to work with as well. This is going to be a very difficult situation now for Fnatic to retake. And before I can even finish that sentence, Bialy and Snacks picking up the kills. 2 rounds on the board now for Virtus.pro. Yeah. It is starting to look a bit better here. Money is actually a little bit slim.
Yeah, what was good about that was they didn't let the CTs work out what was going on. There wasn't enough time for the CTs to come and rotate and back up. Normally, most teams will wait for the smoke to run down, and then at that point, Fnatic have already pushed other areas on the map and given the call off to make the rotation towards B. But I think that's good play from VP, keeping the rounds quick and allowing themselves to have 5-on-2 or 5-on-3 situation instead of going in against the whole lineup is great. And wow, what a great start there for VP. They're actually firing on all cylinders now, seem to have found some form and getting themselves into the game.
Yeah, that's fantastic. This is the turnaround that Virtus.pro have been patiently waiting for. Now a 2-man advantage. They have all of the gear. Pronax has an M4 to work with. Deagle and CZ on the remaining 2 members for Fnatic, and now basically they managed to get onto this A site practically scot-free. Flusha is up in A apartments. He's been just patiently waiting to see if anybody's going to push through here, and that's just not going to be the case. So no free kill for him, and no gun to work with either, unfortunately. And I'm curious now to see if, I mean, Pronax, he should just be holding on to the gun, essentially. He does manage to find, where did Flusha, oh, that's right, JW had an AWP at the beginning of the round. Of course, Flusha pushing over here, this makes perfect sense now. He's got the gun. Now they can actually save some valuable weapons.
Yeah. We know how valuable that AWP can be. We'd like to see him move a little bit around now. After seeing the VP opting for B so much, I'd like to see him bring it over there and kind of have some presence to kind of force him away a little bit. They seem to be getting in almost every time there now.
But yeah, Flush on your screen now. He's got that AWP, and he's currently occupying the same tower that Pasha was.
Yeah.
Earlier in this half, and he should be able to hold on to it. Up close with the CZ, he should be perfectly lethal, and there you go, hits the headshot and even gets the kill onto Neo.
Nice work. We can see the money not too great in the CT camp, but the fact they have the AWP, it just allows them to choose an area to stack with the pistols and just almost bait out the Ts for the AWP just to pick them off. On a map like Cobble, there's so many opportunities to do that. And we can see VP actually opting to go towards B here, and this could be interesting. Flusha is going to be the one holding on to that AWP.
And this is actually a good call here. I mean, this is perfect because Fnatic are going for a bit of a gamble, putting 4 players over on that A site early, expecting the aggression there from Virtus.pro, considering Virtus.pro have nearly continuously gone to the B site. Fnatic were hoping to be able to get a step ahead of them and catch them head on, but that's not going to be the case. VP, they're going to be able to get this bomb plant pretty much for free, and Flusha is now going to be in a bit of an awkward spot. You can already see him kind of hanging back in connector. I think he's going to be trying to play to just, see if he can get a pick. If he can't, he wants to be in a position where he can back off and hold on to this gun. And the remaining players here essentially just kind of gathered up. They're hoping to get some exit frags, hoping to make this expensive for Virtus.pro.
I think it's just going to be a case of trying to save this AWP again. They don't want to risk too much here. Flusha being able to pick one off, and this is the time he probably wants to get out.
Well, he's got the cover as well here in drop-down room, so not getting too far away from his teammates. There's the shot. Krim's just going to work. And he just wishes that AK had dropped down into his arms right there. Neo will find JW, shoots him in the back. Flusha takes the shot. Neo doesn't get him. Neo not going to be able to track him down, and Flusha will just barely hold on to that AWP. Such an important save to have for this 15th round of the first half. 10 rounds for Fnatic, 4 for Virtus.pro. And they go for the double AWP play. That is brilliant. Now they can actually afford to go for some expensive strategies here, Fnatic.
Well, you did say when it was a 10-0, VP need the rest of the rounds here, and that's exactly what they've done. 4 in a row for them, and you can see they've kind of woken up on this map and finally started to arrive. And looks like Pasha is actually going to be looking for the kill here. JW is going to be there waiting with the AWP. This is going to be the next frag here is going to be very important indeed.
Pasha steps away just as it goes in, and they are managing to push into A apartments now as well, but JW holding fairly aggressively here. We'll see if the pop flash is effective for Neo. He's going to be trying to set it up. When do they decide to come around this corner? This is about to get very hairy here for JW. Flash through. Timing is perfect, however, and JW is able to get that first frag. VP cannot reply, and now he falls into a better defensive position. Now it gets very difficult here for Virtus.pro. They're going to run past, and he doesn't actually get that shot. Bialy will rush him down. So a man advantage here for Fnatic. And JW is gone, but Flusha is still holding close to underpass. And he's got the help of Pronax now as well, who's playing from connector. Shot goes through, Pasha is down. And now it's going to be Bialy and Snacks, the remaining 2 players for Virtus.pro, trying to bum rush onto this A site. There's already a man here, however. Pronax just waiting, spots them out, and picks up the remaining 2 kills. Fnatic will end the half on 11 rounds. And that was a perfect save there by Pronax, just stopping VP cold.
Absolutely, yeah. I liked watching JW there. His movement in this game is just so phenomenal. He's just so aware of where he is and where he can go to be defensive. And the kill he picked up in apartments there was phenomenal. And I thought that really shook up VP there. Got himself back onto the steps and managed to stay alive and legged the person. And another no-scope there. And good work from at the end to clean up the round. 11-4, very solid half for Fnatic. And VP are going to find themselves in a very dangerous situation if they don't win this pistol. As we saw Fnatic just absolutely roll this map yesterday, and it's going to be a difficult campaign for VP, absolutely.
We certainly will. VP know that they're in the doghouse. You could see that they weren't really too excited there during the halftime. Yeah. I mean, 4 rounds in this time right now in the current meta with Cobble and the changes. 4 rounds is just not enough. But hell, if Neo's getting headshots like that, and there we go. Pasha's able to pick up a headshot onto Olafmeister as well. If you're getting the kills to stop Fnatic cold, that's going to do some work for you. And they do manage to return. Krims picks up the one onto Pasha. And JW and A Apartments does manage to spot out 1 man over on that A site. But the bomb is currently waiting over here towards B Long. And there isn't going to be too much here for Fnatic to go off of. JW still kind of lurking around, and he is going to take this fight long range. Manages to drop Neo down to 40 HP. And dodges most of that HE damage as well. But there's still a minute left on this clock. Fnatic still have plenty of time. And Snacks gets spotted as well. That's a 2nd player here. Now JW kind of has a count as to how many people are actually alive on this site. 2 players remain. Neo and Snacks kind of stacked up here, trying to hold this long line basically. Trying to stop Fnatic from getting onto the bomb site for the plant, but Krims hits a sick headshot onto Snacks. That's going to open things up, weakens the defense. Neo holding on balcony, takes that fight, but he's been spotted, and now they know. And Fnatic are going to be able to get that bomb and get the plant here. They should at least. 3-on-3. Neo very low on 1 HP. Bialy and Taz have rotated through. But they're taking so long with it. Finally, the bomb gets planted. Really maximizing the time there, Fnatic. JW will find the long-range shot onto Neo, and Taz looking for the flank, but he's not going to be... Oh, what a headshot onto Pronax. That's the kind of turnaround right there, Taz. He swaps out for the USB. He's got 12 bullets once again. Hits another headshot. JW is down, and it's down to Krims now. Only 6 HP left on him. Taz still trying to figure out where he's coming from, however. He's worried about balcony. But Krims, all he has to do now is play for this, and Taz has got the kit, but Krims is slowly walking in. He's going to hit the timing just perfectly, and he does manage to stop Taz cold. No heroics this time, Taz. It was a heroic effort, but you will not be picking up that round for Virtus.pro.
Real shame for them. They actually managed to pick up the first 2 frags, which is actually exactly what you need to do. When you're on CT and you know that the T's can just go group together and just burst into a site, it's so difficult to hold. Neo and Pasha are picking up very early frags and making a 5-on-3 situation, but they lost that map control on the middle and A bomb site area then, allowed the T's to work their way up middle and kind of almost stifle the CT so much and force them into like pretty difficult holding positions now. And you can see that the force bite has come up from VP. It's a round they definitely need to win. and losing that first frag is going to make this so much harder. They can see they've got a 5-7, a P250, and the Swag 7 there, and this could pay off if Fnatic do opt to go towards B.
And Pasha holding an Olafmeister's position essentially really close to plateau. He wants to just be in this position where he can just jump up and potentially catch people off guard. Very accurate while jumping that shotgun, so that's what he's going to be looking to abuse. JW up in the apartments gets caught by Taz, so point blank with the CZ there. Taz able to take him out, and Pasha holding up close. They're going to go jumping across. He hits the first man, gets the second as well. Pasha nearly takes the third. He does do so, and that is going to completely annihilate the Fnatic push. It's down to Crims now. Bomb at his feet, 45 seconds. And he is going to be able to start poking around, but the smoke is going to clear soon, and he's not got a whole lot to work with. He does have a single smoke and a flash. But is he really trying to go for the fake here? Is he trying to work his way back around through apartments? He could potentially try and wrap back around, but it's going to be cutting it very close. 30 seconds remain, and he is going to have to commit to this bomb site, and he needs to hit the frag. Not going to find that man. However, it's just around the angle, as we can see. Thanks to the X-ray, we see it. But Crims, unfortunately, he is blind in this case, and Virtus.pro are playing this perfectly. They aren't showing anything. For the two players here, Crims has no idea, and he's literally going to drop down in front of Snacks. Just couldn't have gone better for Virtus.pro, and the force buy is successful.
Absolutely. Like, what a time for Pasha to arrive, just when they needed it. 3 kills with the Swag 7, and that was, for me, like we said before, they did come towards B. I just saw that doing huge damage, but Fnatic not going to back down that easily. They're actually coming back with a force buy of their own. We see that so much these days. Back and forth rounds. I wouldn't be surprised if Fnatic took one of their own here. It's going to be a reasonably forced buy from VP, obviously. So this could go either way. Like, don't count Fnatic out of this round whatsoever.
No, they're perfectly lethal with the Tech 9s as well. I mean, Olafmeister does take quite a bit of damage, and just the full-on spray. Snacks, Neo, Pasha just going to work, essentially. And it's just JW now alive. The rest of his team trying to force their way through that smoke. They body block each other, essentially. They just aren't able to make it out into the open and just get completely shredded by the VP defense. Taz with the final one there onto the MP7. You see, I mean, bit of a forehead swipe there by JW. I don't think that they're too concerned quite yet. They still have quite a buffer to work with Fnatic as far as the rounds are concerned, but they would have been pleased with the win there.
Yeah, well, the fact VP actually had so much heavy presence there in middle just to save their bacon there. They managed to smoke off the choke point and force Fnatic to run through, and it was a bit of a scrappy fight in middle, but VP obviously coming out on top there. And they're going to opt to keep a couple of the SMGs here, build up the economy. On a map like this, with the choke points are so small, that Taz is demonstrating a drop down there. Definitely viable, and it will just build up the economy, especially against these Glocks.
One thing to keep in mind here as well is that Fnatic weren't able to really get too much economic damage done to Virtus.pro as well in that last round. That's the key here. If Fnatic don't win the round, they at least want to make it close. They want to get 2 to 3 frags, and that not happening means that VP now are one step closer to establishing that safety net, that big bank that they can fall back. If they were to lose a round to Fnatic, it's not going to mean an easy follow-up kind of force buy situation for Virtus.pro. It means that VP can still afford the full rifles, the AWP, whatever they need essentially to stop Fnatic cold. So there will no longer be any easy rounds here. They're going to have to work for it, Fnatic. And a long-range spray battle here from Pasha takes him quite a bit of time, and Olafmeister jumps on the opportunity. Bialy is there to establish order, however. He takes out Olafmeister, and Bialy just mowing them down.
There it is.
That is perfect. Quad kill for him, just all neatly lined up. He's a firm believer in order.
Look at the cash now for VP. They've got plenty in the bank to play with. We can see that the full buy coming in from Fnatic. No AWP this round. We're going to see a full rifle setup. And in terms of grenade, they have got the 5 smokes, but not much else. There's no Molotovs in to play with, and so post-plant's going to be difficult for them. So they're going to be wanting to clear this round out purely on frags before the bomb goes down.
And Neo electing to hold on to that MP9 as well. He spots one man running past, but this is why he stays with the SMG. He's holding a very close quarters position as well. Similar to Plateau on B site. If he can hold underpass up close when they try and run through, that MP9 can be lethal. Snacks and Bialy having taken quite a bit of damage, however, to start things off at the beginning of the round. So that's not going to make Virtus.pro very comfortable. And JW clears up through A apartments, even getting shot by a mate there. So they have to tighten up on the comms there, Fnatic. Getting a little nervous, perhaps. And Neo going for the shoulder. He got spotted and does not readjust his aim in time. JW is there to take him out. Pasha does return, however, and takes out Olafmeister in the meantime. So Virtus.pro bringing it back to a 4-on-4, but this situation still favors Fnatic until Taz steps in. Taz gets the long-range spray. 2 kills for him. Flusha tries to push through the apartments, but he's not going to be able to get that revenge frag very quickly here. Instead, it's Crims to catch Taz out of position, and that bomb will not get picked up as Snacks is rotated in. Perfect positional play from VP. Adding that extra body onto the site made all of the difference. It's down to Flusha now. 1v3, now 1v2. But he still has to know that Snacks is holding at the bottom of underpass, so this is going to be very tricky as far as getting his hands on that bomb with only 30 seconds left and making it back up to the site. Well, it works as well if you kill them. So Bialy is down. We're into the 1v1, and with 20 seconds left here, Flusha.
He's not trying it, is he? It's going to be very close indeed.
This is insane. This is insane. 10 seconds. He's just not going to have the time. There's no way he can make it. 9 seconds. 8, 7, 6. He needs to actually catch Snacks, and he spots him. The free kill with 3 seconds left. Are you kidding me, Flusha? And he doesn't even believe it. The only thing that would win him that round just happened. Catching Snacks in the back.
What a round that was. He made a real bad call there, I think, to actually run towards B there. I think he thought he had more time than he actually did. Realized that about the drop down area, he didn't have it whatsoever. And he got so lucky there. I can't believe that the VP didn't hear him as he came all that way, but managed to get a free kill with 3 seconds remaining on the clock. And he's going to be so happy, and VP are going to find that very frustrating indeed. As we say that, Neo actually opens up the fragging onto JW. A little bit of revenge there, but here we go, 5-4 situation.
Suffering a tremendous amount of damage in return, however, VP. That's Snacks down to 39, Neo down to 60. But the most important thing is that Neo did get that kill, and a very nice flick from him as well. Neo, perfectly competent opper. But now Virtus.pro are approaching this the correct way. They're falling back. Now that they have the man advantage, they don't have to go for anything risky. They don't have to look for the fight. They can fall back to the edges of the site and try and abuse this AWP, trying to take advantage, as you guys can see. Getting up onto Van like this, trying to change up the angles, but he is going to have this long line to hold. Fnatic not wanting any of that. They're starting to move over here towards the B site, taking over drop-down room perhaps, although Taz is still weighty. Weighty? Like, that's halfway through ready and waiting. But we'll go with waiting. Olofmeister, though, going to take out Pasha, and Pasha still struggling to win these fights that are crucial, because now it's down to Bialy. He's the one holding on the site. Excellent anti-flash there to slow Fnatic down, however. 30 seconds left on the clock for Fnatic. And the full rotation coming out here. We have 3 players alive on this site for Virtus.pro. Bialy starts off strong, takes out the first man, but Pronax is there for the re. And it's going to be Snacks, Neo, and Taz alive here for Virtus.pro at this point. Taz looking to infiltrate, runs right into Olofmeister. Bomb will get planted. And now Fnatic, they have a huge advantage going into this hold. Molotov's going out, the HEs as well, softening up the Virtus.pro members. Snacks will find the kill, but it's still a 2-on-2 here. Fnatic still have the positional advantage. Crims will catch out Neo, and it's going to be down to Snacks. 1v2, just desperately looking for somebody to get rid of here. Holds up close, and he runs right into Crims. Not happening this time for Virtus.pro. And Fnatic, they win 2 rounds in a row. This is so important. Look at the effect that just had on Virtus.pro's money. Yep. Worst case scenario for VP, essentially. Yeah, that was always going to be a very difficult round for them to win. Like, after Flusha pulled off that amazing move, well, amazing, I might say a little bit lucky. Just a little. Yeah, they didn't actually have enough money for any kits there, so the fact that they didn't even got the 2 kills there, it would have been almost impossible to defuse in that situation. So we can see that this is getting to the real danger zone now. I think they're pretty much in its prime, because no money, Fnatic almost a match point. This is a round, we can see Pasha bringing out the Mag 7 again, hoping to recreate that magic he had in the first anti-eco. We'll see if he's that lucky. I mean, right now, look at this stack coming out from Virtus.pro on the A side as well. 4 players here, leaving Neo alone. It's almost like Inferno. Except that the B side, I mean, well, the sites are switched around, but Neo holding all by his lonesome up in A apartments. The rest of his team gathered around the B site. Fnatic may have an inkling here. They are just clearing it out, being very thorough in their search. But Neo up close, he's looking for that instant headshot. And Fnatic need to gather up when they go around this corner, but it's not going to be good enough there. Flusha just comes crouching around, takes Neo's face off. And they hear the rotation coming out here as well, Fnatic. Olofmeister, he's actually infiltrated the back lines. He could work his way in here and completely eviscerate the defense from Connector. He's waiting right now for the rotator from the B site. But everybody is here on the A site. They could never expect this. Will Olofmeister actually make this work? He's still waiting, and he's going to change it up. He's going to come up onto balcony. This is big. So long as Fnatic are patient, 20 seconds left. Olofmeister just running this down, trying to hunt down the remaining members here for Virtus.pro. Taz still alive at the backside. He could win it, but he gets spotted, and there you go. Olofmeister goes up onto the balcony, and there's nowhere left to hide for VP on that site. Pasha now all alone, still on the B site. What a perfect anti-eco this has been for Fnatic. Such smart play, not giving anything away. They just, like you said, they were so thorough in clearing out those areas. And the fact that we had Olofmeister doing that very good, nice, clean backstab as well. He managed to just pull them apart, opening frags. And when VP went all in, we saw armor from them. We saw the Mag 7 here. It's going to be so difficult to even
have any presence in the next round. So we see Pasha here. He might just want to save this with all he can. I'm not really sure what his plan is. If he can get one kill and save an AK, that would be amazing for them. But it's going to be difficult. Yeah, and there it is. Olaf Meister playing phenomenally this game, and there it is. This is a match point for Fnatic, and we can see that VP have next to nothing to work with. They have got a couple of rifles, but in terms of like defuse kits, they've got nothing. They've got no utility to play with. The Mag 7 still back out yet again, and an MP9. So Fnatic want to close this one out now. They've got the AWP, which I think is the perfect purchase. They know VP can't afford those, and if they can just work it, they can get themselves back and close this right now.
I'm surprised. Are Virtus.pro on autopilot right now? Why are they buying helmets when they could easily be, in Snax' case, that could be a diffuse kit right there, or even a smoke. That's $350 that they have to invest in that helmet that's going to be completely useless versus AKs. AKs, helmet or not, one shot to the head, that gets the job done. So Virtus.pro right now probably just going for the buy, not thinking about it. And this is going to be now 15-7. And already the entry there from Flusha, just managing to open things up. Taz is holding up close though, takes the battle, but Crims returns the frag. Snax is here. Fnatic definitely not expecting there to be 3 bodies to have to deal with over on the A site. He manages to bring it back to a 3-on-3 scenario, but Olaf Meister currently pushing through. Not going to get the timing correct this time around. Bialy is there. And the man advantage now for Virtus.pro. They're trying to get eyes on that bomb as well. JW will pick it up. Just barely. He's got that AWP. Tries to peek around the corner, and a split second's hesitation is all Snax needs to take his head off. And it's going to be Crims, the only man alive here for Fnatic. VP, they hold for now. But with 35 seconds left here, Crims is just looking to see if anybody's going to try and go for the flank. VP perfectly content to sit and wait. And it will be Snax, the last man alive here, or at least last man to pick up the kill for Virtus.pro. 15-8 now.
Yeah, so VP live to see another day. Money's still great in the Fnatic camp. I don't feel like they utilised the AWP enough there. It was a perfect chance there, especially when VP had nothing at all in terms of grenades. They could have just waited that out a little bit and actually utilised it and gone together after one pick. But we can see that the Snax has actually opted for the AWP. We're seeing this a lot more from him, defensive AWPing, and he is very, very strong at it. But is he going to be strong enough to hold on for another 7 rounds? I'm not so sure.
Look at this clever play here by JW. This is the jump basically to check all the way back, and they've got a double. This is awesome. The boost straight back into long. Does he spot the man? Does he get the target? And he does! JW finds Pasha.
Every time.
Oh, Pasha, he is going... I mean, they've got to check his desk after this. There's probably going to be a good dent in it. I mean, that's brutal. The eyes of a killer right there. JW, man, just hunts them down. And now Fnatic have a great advantage going into this potentially last round here. They're sitting on map point. Virtus.pro need to do some crazy work, and there's just a little HE in case anybody's holding close to drop. But no, that's not the case. Virtus.pro have definitely fallen back here. They are pushing Neo into underpass. We'll see if he actually pushes onto T-slope. But VP are content to sit and wait, and this is actually very good on their part. Rather than just try and push in and take the risky plays, perhaps throw away another frag, instead it's Snax holding back. Chicken Hut. And he's going to be able to pick up the kill. Neo pushes out onto T-slope as Fnatic try to rotate in. Neo just going for the HE combo as well. They manage to dodge the majority of the damage, but VP now have a man advantage with 25 seconds left. Flusha trying to rush in here, takes the fight with Neo, but loses it. And there it is. JW does manage to hunt down that second kill for himself. Gets the third as well. JW starting to spin out of control here. 2-on-2. Crims getting up close, but VP with 15 seconds left. All they have to do is hold the line. 12 seconds left. It's ticking down. They need to get this kill, and Crims will do it. No return frag from Taz, and they manage to just barely get onto this site in time. Somehow they managed to do it. Taz, he has to find the kill fast. And he doesn't do it. He spots the man, but does not manage to get the tag or the kill. And now this becomes infinitely more difficult for him. Fnatic have had a second to breathe. They can set it up. What? JW kills his teammate? Taz, now this has been gifted to you. You do not lose this. JW trying to hunt around, trying to change up the angle, and Taz will come from on high on top of the hut. But what a massive error.
I'm not sure what happened there.
Oh. He's barely got it.
He's got that.
Barely got it. Incredible.
So a team killed that. Maybe a little lack of communication there from the Fnatic team, but you don't normally want to headshot your teammates in a 2-on-1 situation. Maybe he just wanted to give himself a little bit of a challenge towards the end. But VP didn't really deserve to win that round, in my opinion. When the clock was at about 15 seconds, and we have got CTs facing the mid wall there, and actually giving JW, who's hitting everything in his sight right now, so an opportunity to take you down. I'm not really sure what was going on, but nice work at the end there to pick up another round, and they will be able to claw one back here, hopefully, because it's a full eco for Fnatic, which I think is a wise choice. Don't need to do anything too silly. You've got enough rounds to play with, you only need one more.
Yeah, and Taz, I mean, you saw the grin at the end there. He knows he got a lucky break. He knows he was gifted that round right there.
Why do all these weird things keep happening with me and Newcast? Everything just goes crazy.
Just uncharacteristic of Fnatic. That is not an error you see ever from Fnatic. But that's the reality right now. 15-9. Fnatic still, of course, on map point, but Virtus.pro 1 round closer to running it back, and now begins the push. 1-for-1 trade there in drop-down room. They managed to recover the bomb, but there's the Molotov, and Pasha goes in, annihilates one, only to be returned on by Crims, who picked up the M4. Problem is, they're so low on HP at this point, neither of them know what to do with the M4. And that is going to be a very quick cleanup there for Snacks, but an awkward moment, you know. Crims trying to, you know, he's like, okay, you must have HP, right? You know, here, take the M4, do something with it. Just wasn't happening.
Well, you can see the full buy coming in yet again for Fnatic. JW picking up the orb yet again, and why not? He's been absolutely an absolute monster. 23 frags this game, and especially on his T half, he seems to be opening the map up so well for them. We can actually see Neo with the P90 here. It'd be interesting to see what his play is with that. He's been holding the mid area quite nicely. He's been getting them back into rounds with his aggressive mid play, picking up 1 or 2 frags there and falling back. He just needs to make sure the VP play a bit smarter when they get those frags and not falling all the way back. Cobble is such a great map to fall back to the bomb site and making sure you actually stifle the T's enough so they don't have time to plant.
And we've seen that with Fnatic, actually. Not characteristic at all for them to run out of time in rounds or to cut it this closely, right? I mean, they have an N in their name, but they're not Na'Vi. So this time around, however, it is going to be the big shot for Fnatic. VP still, however, keeping everybody alive. Molotov goes down onto long, just in case Fnatic are trying to push forward, but it's only olofmeister holding over here. The rest of his teammates kind of gathered up in underpass and are now rotating through the halls. It does look like eventually we will see some kind of execute onto the B site here. The smoke goes down to block off Taz. Unfortunately, he's on the wrong side of it, so he's not going to be able to keep eyes there. He will try and get close, however, just to listen and hear if he, to see if he can hear any steps. The shots kind of give it away, though. So they know that somebody is in there at least. They don't know how many, however. So Virtus.pro still trying to close off the angles. You can see in connector there. Essentially, Snacks just trying to make sure that there can't be any kind of backstab, and there it is. Pasha starts off strong, takes out Crims as soon as he faces. They try and flash their way through, but it's completely ineffective. Second flash, however, will work marvelously, and olofmeister will take out Pasha. Hard shot to hit here, however, on the man holding on the site, but Bialy will get cleaned up, and now it's down to the rotation. 3 members remain here for Virtus.pro. 2 members very low indeed for Fnatic. 13 life on Pronax, 4 on olofmeister, and yet they hold, and JW spots out Snacks. This is now down to Taz. Just like that, the last man alive in a 1v4 picks up the first one. JW is gone. Pronax and olofmeister still very low on HP, but he needs to find them fast, and it's just not going to be the case. Flusha catches him in the back, and it will be the first map in this best-of-5 series going to the Swedish team Fnatic.
Yeah, I think that was always going to be the result here, especially after that first half and the way Fnatic got themselves to match point. It was only a matter of time. It wasn't if, it was when. And nice little B take from them at the end. Once they got the bomb down and JW was up there with the orb, there was no real chance for VP to retake that one. He's just, when he's hitting so many shots, like it's really difficult to contain him. We see it so many times throughout this LAN, and he's had an absolutely phenomenal event.
Well, it's all, like Thorn put it well.